We'll see how it unfolds here as Blur is looking like he could play Slush also in contention. So
the question is, what will be the mindset of both these players? I honestly think Slush is saying to himself, I am a stronger Zerg player. I am very good at the late game. There's absolutely no reason why I should be trying to force a cheese against a player who generally won bases anyways. Maybe if it was like a two-basing expanding player, he could convince himself it would be a good idea, but I genuinely think Slush is going to go for a very, very long-term game.
yeah, and I think you're right. You cannot force those wins as much as you want to be like, I'm just going to finish it now, or I'm just going to go for a short game. You know, if your opponent's prepared for it, if he scouts it properly, it can completely throw that out. It can force a defeat, etc. So I think you're right. I mean, I feel like Slush is probably a pretty intelligent guy. Obviously, anyone that plays at this top level of StarCraft has a certain level of intelligence. But here we will see the Overlord moving into position, and he will scout the Terran here.
And it looks like he sees it, and oh, Blur is going to be able to scout that Overlord right off the bat. A very common technique to send that little circuit SCV around to see exactly if there is an Overlord en route. Slush now looks like he is still gearing up to do some sort of early expand. No pool has gone down yet, and in particular, no gas has gone down yet. There's the save up, sending out the drone to the natural expansion, going to be hatching up right away, and there it does go down. In the meantime, Blur going for, again, a Rax gas opening. Would anticipate him to do probably another one of his trademark one-base pushes.
I think that's certainly a possibility, and he's got several different ones up his sleeve. 15 drones out now for the Zerg hatchery. A quarter of the way done. Over on the other side, Overlord making his way through the base, and he'll be able to probably safely get to the other side before that Marine pops out. We heard the pool go down as well on 15, and no gas as of yet, but he is just preparing for definitely a more long-term game.
Yeah, great decision-making by Slush. So easy when everything is suddenly on the line. I honestly have no idea why this happens. But when you are in, like, the final deciding situation for a huge win, your brain goes, let's just cheese this. Let's just rush and get this over with. But that is the nice part about a best-of-5. He has that time to calm himself down and say, no. Even though you wanted to end this game faster, you got to sit down and play your strong game.
So we do have the pool pop, and we did have 300 minerals saved up, so I'm guessing we're going to go double queen, which we do. Could possibly see a spine crawler here at the natural as well. Meanwhile, again, look at the Fort Knox barrier that Blur is creating right here. Not really going to take any chances at that point, as he now has, of course, the supply depots, the factories up front too, and I would expect to see him continue to build around that.
And note that Blur has not scouted his opponent at all. He has no idea what is incoming, and I really think Slush is playing this to his advantage, getting that speed up, getting the spine crawler up, 2 queens coming out extremely quickly, immediately getting 2 creep tumors. Very cool to begin spreading creep that early on, and I'm very curious to see, oh, Blur is going to do the same strategy he did last game. He's going to be going for a factory and a barracks, going double Hellion at the start into double tank, double Marine.
Oh, this will probably be pretty good for Blur here. See how he's going to handle it out. Here come the double Hellions right away, and still no units coming out for Slush. He's going to walk that fine line of how many drones can I produce before I finally have to, and sometimes it can be too little too late, but the spine crawler is down, 2 queens are out, 1 blocking the ramp, and that's actually the perfect answer to a couple of Hellions coming your way.
But one thing to note, though, that this one spine crawler can't cover the south end of these hatcheries. Player like QXC would be all over that, but Blur might be a little bit more passive. Looks like he is target firing the queen, getting his 4 Hellions together right now. Great choice at this point. Wants to deny as much scouting as possible, and here comes the beginning of that push, now beginning to get more supply depots. What is going on in Camp Slush? Very fast Baneling Nest, still getting a decent amount of drones, but Zerglings out in big numbers early on as well. Yeah, and he's hiding those Zerglings, which I think is really smart, wanting these Hellions to come in there and then take him by surprise.
go in for the surround, and will this be it, or is he maybe waiting to put some banelings together with all these Zerglings? We'll have to see what he's going to decide to do, but speed is done, and that obviously helps him out a lot in combating these Hellions.
There now are some tanks coming up for Blur. He's getting the double Marines out of each of these reactor barracks. He's continuing to make depots. Has to be very careful not to miss one, because that will absolutely cripple this fast push. Oh, it looks like these Hellions came back to pick off a Zergling, and it looks like Slush is also opting for the Baneling speed again. He needs to be very careful. He's continuing to edge the Spinecrawler forward, and in particular, edging this creep forward. This is such a tense final match.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Zerglings out here very soon as drone production has halted momentarily here for Slush as he gets these upgrades and continues to pump an enormous amount of Zerglings. He is also stockpiling some gas as well so he can actually make those morphs. Move that Spinecrawler way forward, like way outside of his base, and really good because it's keeping those eyeballs out of Blur out of the base. He's going to move up again, takes out that creep tumor, not letting that creep spread, and here comes the big push from Blur.
Blur having a few less tanks than last time, as 3. He had around 4 or 5 last time he made this push. Looks like he is inching up very carefully. Look at this. He wants to be hugging the edges, so that way it's easier, or it's harder for the opponent to surround. There's a lot of Zerglings and Banelings being made. I think Slush is realizing that he's going to need a lot more Banelings if he wants to hold off this push.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Speed is going to finish, but I think he might go ahead and go forward right now.
Oh, wow, and the Zerglings do a great surround, and the Banelings get some huge hits off, but the Zergling numbers are not high enough. It looks like Blur will end up losing that last tank, but again, Blur is going to be able to continue advancing with this push. I think that Slush hit it a little bit too early on again.
Yeah, you know, a great opportunity would have been to just wait for those tanks to unsiege and move forward. He did still have some creep tumors back here to give a little bit of vision, and then moved in. He would have suffered a lot fewer losses, actually. Also, those Hellions stayed alive, too, which helped to roast those Zerglings as they got the surrounds on the siege tanks. And here it comes. I mean, one thing that's awesome.
And it's another push again, but the Banelings are not coming in at good angles. Oh, that's the hit that Slush has been looking for, but I still don't think it's enough. Blur just playing around this edge. Slush not having enough patience. He is just trying to end this way too fast. These tanks are getting a ton of kills. Look at this 18-kill siege tank. And there's the scan to eliminate the creep to make this push all the stronger.
Yeah, a lot of Zerglings coming out, guys, just a ton. But unfortunately, he's also got to use that time to morph the Banelings as well. He is sitting on quite a bit of minerals and gas, so he could keep this up. But don't forget, Blur just reinforcing, creating this nice dotted line of siege tanks across the map. And it is going to just obliterate anything that comes within range. You can see that siege range getting closer and closer to those units.
And I think Slush is realizing that that first attack was a mistake. Look at the incredible patience Slush is having now. I think Slush is really feeling annoyed at himself for having so few units. Blur, no doubt, who has stated multiple times how nervous he is in this tournament. The tension is rising. Can he pick this off? Here come the Zerglings to surround, but he is pulling back everything quite well, and the Baneling does not manage to connect. That Baneling made a huge hit. Looks like these Marines are very low on life. 1 tank left, and here comes another wave of Zerglings for Slush. All these Marines are so low on health, and Slush may have done it.
Well, he's going to try. There's another tank here. Reinforcements still coming, and all the Zerglings are going to go down. What's coming out? 24 more Zerglings. Is he going to run them in immediately? He will go after these front units and then immediately go after the siege tanks. He might be able to take one out. No SCVs to repair, and no. Just throwing units into the trash over and over. Now we're going to have some more Banelings morphed and give it one last go. But as you can see, he's really trying hard to work off of these 2 bases right here, and he can't even keep up with the amount of larvae that he's getting.
And it looks like Spinecrawler coming down right now. More Banelings have been morphed in the backside. I don't think it was the best choice to pick off those tanks. You surround the Lings, or excuse me, you surround the Marines with the Lings, then the tanks can kill off those Marines as well. But look at how low the money is at Blur's half of the map. He is just dead broke. He is committing everything to this 1 base play, and Slush has like 1.5 bases, and the Banelings managed to get the Marines caught off guard. Can he hit? Yes, he has a tremendous hit with the Banelings. but Blur's army never seems to stop coming.
Yeah, and eventually I assume that Blur will try to expand behind this. He's got to leave himself some minerals in order to do this. He has lost quite a few units, if you want to look at that. Where is he at?
Wow, almost the exact same amount of units lost, but Blur having these power siege tanks dealing so much damage. He's moving forward with these Marines, but now that he sees that there's a Spine Crawler up top, Zerglings are going to hit a big surround on the Marines. Moved way too far forward, Blur did, and now Blur sieges up a tank in front of the Spine Crawler. Did Slush actually manage to hold this off?
God.
I don't believe it. Slush has held off the push, and it looks like it's finally going to get a leg up. Blur going to have to pull back all these forces. Everything is in a full-out retreat right now. Can he manage to pull the supply depot up in time? He's going to have to lose the tank, and there are the Marines on the backside picking that off. Maybe he can get another good shot off. He does manage to kill his own tank. Fire going down right now for Slush. Wow.
Patience and don't panic right there. You know, maybe you could have said he threw away a lot of units. I know it looked like he had thrown away a ton of units. That first attack maybe a little bit premature, but he did manage to put himself back together, do the math, and figure out how he was going to thwart that. Now, what's interesting is Terran still not looking at any sort of expansion. There is just a few patches remaining here. Overseer is going to go in. He does throw some corruption down on that factory to keep that from going up. So, I mean, he's going to have to expand, or he's just going to run out of units.
There is his orbital, or his command center in his main just now finishing, but the real issue is the fact that Slush does have these double gas geysers up. There's the scan. Spire has been spotted by Terran. He knows that he has to get some kind of anti-air up real fast. Likely going to be going for an armory, but still has such little money that he's going to have to wait until this expansion begins mining.
Be curious to see if he's going to continue with those contaminates. I really like the Zerg when they use that strategy. I think it's probably even more effective here when they're spending all the money that they possibly can to try to defend anything that could be coming, and you can just stop those units from coming out. But I am surprised that maybe we haven't seen a third base out of Slush yet. I expect maybe one to come soon. Armory is going up, and wow, he's got the second expansion up, so just in the nick of time.
So it looks like Noodles are now darting in. Blur's going to need to position these Marines very carefully if he wants to be able to stay alive, because once the Thor pops out, then Blur's going to have a little bit more comfort. But the Mutalist can pick off any of these vulnerable tanks. All these depots in the back of the main are vulnerable. The SCVs mining gas at the back are vulnerable. And Slush is just now getting this expansion up. Look at this. Only 7 drones mining at the expansion. Evolution chamber going down now for Slush.